Well, hello everyone. It is getting on towards sunset and it's been a beautiful day and I'm starting to get a little bit hungry. So I am preparing a delicious deer heart for dinner and I wanted to walk you through the process. So here is, squeeze some of the blood out of it here. Here is a beautiful deer heart. Now this is from last hunting season, so this one is actually a thawed heart. So usually with a fresh heart, I like to cut them into slices and then just sear them and leave them really nice and raw and bloody in the middle, but kind of browned on the outside. That's wonderful. With a heart that's been frozen, the texture isn't quite so nice, so I usually go ahead and cook it a little bit more thoroughly, maybe marinate it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and cut like 1/2 inch pieces. I don't want it too thick, but I also don't want to cut it so thin that it cooks all the way through because I want to have it a little bit rare in the middle. It's just so much more delicious. And the bottom of the heart is pretty thick with muscle, and there's not a lot of other funky stuff in there. So usually you can get really nice kind of steak-like cuts out of it. As you get up higher towards the aorta, you start getting into some more funky like vessel tissue, and that can be a little hard to chew. So again, if you're a little on the squeamish side, the bottom of the heart is better for you. So this is the aorta, the major vessel that's going to be pushing the blood to all of the body after it comes out of the lungs, all nicely oxygenated. So it's pretty darn thick and tough, and not everyone's going to want to eat it. So I kind of set that aside, and you know, the really tough folks who want to look like kind of bad blanks can eat that. I usually eat it, but not always. So anyway, so we've got a bunch of different cuts, and as you get higher up to the heart, there tends to be a little bit more fat. That's super delicious. So I have these kind of heart steaks, and I'm going to go ahead and marinate them and then cook them up. It's going to be amazing. Delightful deer heart, all prepared and ready to cook up for you. I'm going to cook it up in some bear fat with some garlic and onions. It's going to be amazing. So a lot of Americans don't really know what organ meat tastes like, right? Because it's really hard to find in a store, and most Americans tend to go for stuff that's really, I'm just going to say like bland flavors, as opposed to a lot of other places in the world. We're kind of coddled with all of this factory raised food that doesn't taste as much like animal, doesn't taste as much like meat, doesn't taste as much like the world that it came from, because it's confined in these little boxes and fed food that it's not supposed to be eating. So to my mind, organ meats are like a further extension of eating real food. So wild game has so much more nutrition in it than, you know, feedlot factory raised animals do. And then the organs have way more nutrition than anything else. So it's hard to find organs in a standard grocery store, and even the organs that you would get would have so much less flavor and nutrition and real value in them. So I'm a big advocate of eating all of the organs of every critter that you have the luck to have come your way. So utilizing organ meats is super, super important. And in fact, in a lot of traditional cultures, the organ meats and certain parts of the fat and like brain and the fat behind the eyes, these were things that were saved for pregnant women and children, because it was recognized how nutrient dense they are and how important they are for people to be eating. So nowadays we kind of go towards blandness and, you know, really, really tender, rather than food that takes a little bit of work to chew it and to procure it and to cook it. So heart is a great introductory organ for those who are a little bit squeamish around organ meats. It's way less strong in flavor than things like liver and kidney and stomach and spleen and that kind of thing. But it's also really nutritious, really good for you, a little bit more than other muscle meats. So it's a really good introduction if you're not sure that you can stomach those stronger organ meats. I like the pan to be good and hot. You can probably hear it's really sizzling, so that I'm cooking the outside, but so it's going to be relatively fast, and I'm not going to cook the inside too much. So I don't like my heart or my organ meats or any of my meats really well done or overdone. You lose a lot of the flavor and you lose some of the nutrients. Raw meat tends to be better for you so long as you can trust the source. Perfectly done there. See how it's brown on the inside and nice and rare in the middle? That's how. All right, so ready for my luscious salad. So I've got baby arugula, grated carrots, a little blue cheese, and some venison heart. So pretty amazing combo. Not exactly all from the wild, but if you can have blue cheese with your deer heart, why would you not have blue cheese with your deer heart, right? So fabulous stuff, and pretty excited to eat it. A nice piece. Very, very good.